This BTS comeback in just the past few days has been nothing but a extremely mixed bag, to the point where I even question how Hype was even thinking ahead for all of this, if they were at all, because this is a PR confusion that does not need to be sitting on a group that's worth this much to the company. The best way to explain it, in the last 5 years, the BTS's fame has gone to a very fever pitch, and there was a lot riding on the album's success and the tour success, especially. And knowing that Permission to Dance, the concert series, was so successful during a pandemic, and knowing that the Map of the Soul tour was canceled, there's a lot riding on this tour to bring in the record breaking revenue, which is why you're getting somewhat this industry speculation and forecasting of them being able to rival Taylor Swift's revenue for the Eras tour, even though I know for a fact, to an extent, this is brought up through Hype's hopeful speculation of the tour success, because they do need this. And because K-pop's touring has gone into a bit of an overdrive with the whole touring industry as a whole worldwide, but also this is required to really say like the industry is still at the pitch it has been for the past few years, because there's a speculation that it's been dwindling in its ability to really draw as much as when BTS was last around. And there have been headlines stating that the amount of money needed to really help push the city to actually want and accept that there's a massive concert that's clogging up a lot of traffic and a lot of the daily lives of blue collar workers and everything in between in businesses. They needed to make a certain revenue that I don't think was made, and I think that's where all the backlash is coming from, especially because of the contradicting information out there from Hype of over 104,000 people. Some were stating it's 250,000, which is quite literally 3 Wembley stadiums. Then you have the numbers that estimate it's realistically in real time 46,000 to 83,000, which is very successful, but not as successful as the built-in hype was supposed to be. Thus, here we are with the powerhouse of Netflix backing BTS, which to some people has become divisive because Netflix's issue in terms of the K-drama industry and drowning it and somewhat diluting it, people have said. I think that overall, most people were very happy to see BTS being backed by a superpower like this. But let's really get to the heart of things. The album Arirang was promoted in an idea that it was supposed to be very authentically Korean, and I feel like that was the problem at its core with promotion, with the build up, with the idea behind this album's concept and theme. And the Hollywood Reporter does make effort to reinforce that this was authentically Korean. Now, I had to do research to find out that number 29 was an interlude from a bell being rung that is from a Korean historical time. Also, I have listened to and heard of the song Arirang before any of this has even began to be talked about, but I did not know that they were drawing off of a story from the HBCU when 7 Korean men have recorded the song back in the 1800s. This is a couple of decades after the establishment was made for Howard, but also a little bit prior, I would say, it became a known historically black college, which is where a lot of this discourse comes from that had to be cleared up. And I've even seen podcasts from black people that are locals that don't really know much about BTS or give craps about K-pop, that they started giving them backlash as well. And I think if you really want to go into what I was saying from that one video where I said that BTS's whole situation in 2026 is not about them even being Korean. What's going on is you've put them in a central state of being the heart of a culture and trying to pass it off into the other countries to show how powerful the soft power is, but also reminding ourselves, especially because of the last viral videos that have been happening over the last few months about K-pop having Western ties, especially black music. You have BTS at a standstill with their black-rooted music, which is the hip-hop and the R&B, which Dark and Wild, their debut album, was based in, but also is a callback to the fact that, again, this is also what BTS started off of prior to even having the other members involved. And then you have their English songs, which is the major pop stuff that have been made by many white American songwriters and whatnot. And then you have BTS as a Korean group of men. that standoff and where it's landing from a cultural lens is just hard to like wrap your head around. And I think that that's the problem with BTS as a whole, is that they're trying to come back after being seven individual men who have different music sounds and tastes, and trying to reground the narrative of where they come from and where the music is based from and what type of acceptance they actually want from the Western lens and from the international scope. And the government's push of BTS to gain that level of money and revenue, it's so full of a lot of layers, and that's not to mention the issues going on with Hybe and Hitman Bang and the need for money. It just, this is loaded. But I think again, with BTS as a whole, this is not coming from a different place that's just inauthentic. It's just coming from a very not really centered place, because we do know this happened with the members in mind. They did come together for this project. RM said it himself. This is not coming from that place with Blackpink where we were wondering if the album was even made with the members together at all. Was it just a passive album? Was it just say, here you go? Was it like the situation with their other contemporary EXO where it was like you're missing members, you're missing some of the missing pieces, and you're not really able to ground your music sound because the company you come from is not in that place anymore and they don't really know what to do with you? This is not even those things, for example, from those albums this year, which are totally different situations. This is like, we need a complete like re-up. We need to start from square one. I feel that's what BTS are trying to do with their modern music. But again, it's landing weird because of all the other things going on, in my opinion. But that's just my thoughts. Like I said, I think this has been going on for a while. I think especially now with looking in hindsight, BTS is being used as that cross-cultural connection with the Wall Street Journal entry that they made for the innovators years ago, and then the White House speech they made, which was a whole other stir. It's really interesting for BTS right now.